Hello and welcome to Makeshift Minis. Today I'm going to be making something quite a bit bigger than usual. I wanted to see how far I could go using casts of things I've made. The result was this gargantuan fire elemental. I start by filling the molds I've made of my fire elementals with plastic. Having multiple molds on hand helps me make more of them quickly. Demolding the minis doesn't take too long, but there are issues using styrene instead of resin. Since the plastic's pressed into the mold, I end up with a lot of flashing that I need to clean up. Using my knife, I carefully go through the tedious task of removing the flashing. I cut off anything that sticks off the fire elemental so I can use the body of the mini for the bulk of the figure and the bits for details. After prepping the first batch, I cast more minis. A lot more. After I cast a dozen or so minis, I use 5 of them to make the torso for this giant. Rather than use superglue, I use more plastic to attach them to each other, which holds them in place fairly well and acts as filler for any gaps. Once I finish the torso, I thread a wire through the bottom so I have a nice area to attach other pieces. To make the lower legs, I attach 2 minis together and then make a matching set. I attach 2 minis to a wire bent in the shape of a staple to make the thighs and armature for the hips. Making the head is mostly a process of dry fitting a piece to see if I like it, and if I do, gluing it in place. After adding 5 crests to the head, I finish by adding a piece that I think will work for the face. After the plastic and the thighs and torso cure, I attach the wires together with a bit of superglue. While I hold it in place, I spray it down with some homemade activator to make it cure faster. Since I don't have enough area on either portion of the legs to get a good bond with glue, I use more styrene to hold everything together. While the styrene does hold everything together, it unfortunately isn't strong enough to support its own weight while everything's still soft. So I glue wires to the back of the legs to hold things in the pose I want while things cure. I fill out the lower areas of the torso with the bits I gathered. After I find a position I like for the arm, I hold it in place while I glue it down, which would have been easier if it wasn't so big. Using a combination of plastic and glue, I attach the forearms to the figure. I make the hands using more bits that I glued together with plastic. With most of the assembly finished, I start using the remaining bits to fill out any areas that may have gaps or I don't think have enough detail. To make sure the Mini will stay on the base, I use pieces of wire as pins which I secure in place by filling out the feet with plastic. After using my awl to put holes in the base, I use super glue to make sure nothing falls off. Once I've primed the Mini, I give it a base coat of white. This does take a while since it's so big and there are a lot of details. Using a large brush, I dry brush light yellow onto the Mini. I don't bother painting normally or using glazes since I only want to bring out the textures. To start building layers of color, I dry brush a golden yellow. Even though I'm being a little more careful about painting things, I still have to go back and refill my brush frequently. The next color I dry brush is a bright orange. When painting it, I mostly aim at the upper areas of each section like the upper chest, hips, and knees. Once the orange dries, I lightly dry brush the whole thing a bright cherry red. I do try and give a bit more focus on areas that stick out a lot. At this point, I think I'm done and paint the base black. However, not 5 minutes later, I decide to add another coat of paint. After the base dries, I go for one last dry brush of a deep crimson. This added the variation to the red that I thought it was lacking. I really like how this colossal fire elemental came out. I liked it so much I made a second one. This thing is enormous. Calling it a fire elemental really doesn't do it justice. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Here's my original fire elemental for scale. Take care, be well, and until next time.